we should encourage and subscribe. But also the fact is that if TRAI chairman is being banned or barred after 5 years from taking up another government employment, then the entire gamut of all the regulators, including Competition Commission or others, we should all bring them to Parliament and we should rectify all of them, whichever way, whether we ban them, we allow them, whatever should be the thing,
can I interrupt
be uniform. And this should be used as an opportunity to bring in the requisite changes in legislation vis-a-vis all regulators.
That's a fair point, but can I interrupt you and put this to you? I get the clear impression from your answer that in fact you don't in principle like this amendment very much. You have certain qualms about it, but you're agreeing with it because you don't think it's worth thwarting the Prime Minister's wish to have the man of his choice as his principal secretary. For that reason, you're prepared to override your other concerns.
Karan, such a sweeping mandate somebody has got, and in the eyes of the people, or in general, if you want to deny a person a choice of his own, I think it doesn't make much sense. I'm making it very simple. I'm not a lawyer. I'm neither trying to make very long argument about the overall legality of the whole thing. But the fact remains that yes, he's chosen him. He's passed an ordinance, and at the end of the day, of course, he's thrown the ball in the court of Parliament. But at the end, we all have to acknowledge that it is too early in the day to just oppose for the sake of opposing. And this is not, according to us, a very important, ordinance which merits the entire opposition coming together just to stall or to defeat the government and to score a brownie point.
Let me bring it, Prashant Bhushan.
We'll take on the government on much more important things as they evolve. Why should we get into these petty fights?
Just a moment. You also made a convincing argument, but it is an argument that actually hinges on the fact that at the end of the day, why annoy the Prime Minister on something as small as this? Prashant Bhushan, let me put the opposite to you. Even though the Act is being amended, there will still be, even in the amended version, a 2-year cooling off period before future TRAI heads can either take up government employment or private sector employment. Why is a 2-year continuing cooling off period not sufficient?
No, because to my mind, actually, in this country, there are a large number of jobs which need to be independent of the government, such as Lokpal, CAG, CVC, the judiciary, these regulators and so on. For all these jobs, they should be permanently barred from taking up employment either with the government
can I interrupt?
Or for any corporation whose cases they may have
Can I interrupt? You're making a point. You're making a point in terms of principle. Let me point out to you that the electricity regulator, the insurance regulator, the airports authority regulator, the pension fund authority, all four have just a 2-year cooling off period. And as far as the coal bill, and it's only a bill, it's not an act, mooted by the last government is concerned, it doesn't have any debarment in terms of taking up central or state government employment. So I come back. Why is a 2-year cooling off period not sufficient?
No, that's not sufficient in my view for maintaining the independence of the regulator. In fact, the CAG is barred for life. Similarly, judges are also barred for life. Therefore these are offices which need to be fully insulated from the government. At any rate, you see, this was a well thought out amendment made in 2003 by the BJP government, which is now being sacrificed at this altar of convenience. I sympathize with Mr. Patel, who says that, look, we need to concede to the PM his requirement of having a person of his choice. Just the other day I received
I think Praful Patel wants to quickly disagree. What are you disagreeing over, Praful Patel? And then I'll go to Shaina and see Siddharth Varadarajan.
No, I'm not conceding anything. Neither am I saying that we should please the Prime Minister on any issue. I just said that I simplified the thing by saying that we'd rather take it up or with the government, to take on the government on many larger issues, one. And number two, all regulatory framework, whether it is of TRAI or others, can be brought on the same level by bringing it to Parliament and let Parliament comprehensively discuss and make all regulators at par with each other. That's
you made that point. Before I go back to China NC, let me put this to Sudha Varadarajan. Would your concerns about this amendment be substantially ameliorated if the cooling off period of 2 years, which is what the government proposes, were to be, say, extended to 3 or even 5?
No, I think the original provision in the TRI Act and the Petroleum Regulator Act, which debars any future employment, is a sensible one, because let's not forget the government has so many levers anyway to control these regulators. They appoint the chairman
so you're saying
to begin with, and in the case of TRI,
an expanded cooling off period won't work. So an expanded cooling off period won't work for you, extending it from 2 to 3 or 5.
No, I'm saying it won't work, and what I would like to see ideally is a thorough review, as the House of Lords did in the UK. They've done it twice so far, where you review the functioning of your regulators and come up with proposals that will strengthen the autonomy and independence of regulators rather than compromising their autonomy, which is what we seem to be doing.
Let me go back to China NC on that initial point of principle, and the point of principle is very simple, that if you do not have a debarment, then there is clearly a potential for a regulator to deliberately take decisions, no matter how subtly, that favor the government in the belief or in the hope that he or she will get a post-retirement job. That allurement, that potential is sufficient to undermine integrity and to throw into question decisions that he and she takes. Doesn't that principle matter to you?
Well, doesn't the question of credibility and repute of the officer also come into play? And just coming back to Mr. Bhushan's point,
I'm interrupting you. You may be right in saying that this particular officer is full of integrity. No one is questioning Mr. Mishra's integrity. But what happens to future officers who may not have the same integrity, but now will have the opportunity, because you've reduced the cooling off period to just 2 years, to deliberately favor the government in the hope that 2 years later they'll get a reward? That's the Chinese wall you're breaching.
No, but there is a system of checks and balances, and I don't think things like this go unnoticed in our country, and especially with not just a vigilant media but a vigilant society at large. Nobody is going to misuse their position of power and jeopardize their career and just treat it as a one-off. So I think that the question of credibility is as important as accountability. But just coming back very quickly to Mr. Bhushan's point, he said that, you know, you have the NCP that is supporting. Please let me tell him on record, you have had Mayawati who has made a comment. You have had Mamta Banerjee who has on record said that the Prime Minister must be allowed to work with officers who he thinks can deliver, and he must be given a free hand. So we are very hopeful that in the Rajya Sabha there will be an absolute consensus.
Absolutely,
because the logic is very amply clear.
Let's not get into the numbers game in Rajya Sabha. You may well have actually won it today, depending upon the way people are coming out in support of the amendment, but that's a different issue. I'm not talking about who carries the day in terms of numbers. I'm talking about the principle behind it. Sometimes it's possible for the people who lose to be right. Brute majority doesn't always mean you're morally or legally right. Abhishek Singhvi, I'm going to broaden the discussion at that point. I'm going to raise an issue that in a sense was hidden, I won't say embedded, but hidden behind what Praful Patel was saying. And that is that many people believe, I don't know whether Mr. Patel suggested this, but many people believe that Congress is really only taking up this issue because you want a bit of leverage in the Leader of Opposition matter, perhaps you want a bit of leverage in the National Herald matter. That is not the principle that matters so much to you as the fact that this is a convenient tool to further your own interests, and you're using it because you know that perhaps if you exercise power here, you can get something back in return.
I understand the sensationalist nature of your comment, and also it's unverifiable.
I'll come to you in a moment's time, Mr. Patel.
But that doesn't really mean anything, Karan.
I'll come to you in a moment's time.
This happened. Hello, Karan?
I have a situation where two people are talking together. Mr. Patel, I'll come back to you in a moment's time. Let Abhishek finish and I'll come to you after that. Go ahead, Abhishek, quickly.
Let me answer your question, Karan, which sounds nice and sensationalist, but is of course without any basis and evidence. The LOP issue had not even fructified fully or in a proper manner when the ordinance issue came within a day or two. And we have been consistent in our opposition within 2 days of this government taking power, and we have continued to be so. everything which happens in this country now, I don't think you can gauge our support or opposition on the basis of the LOP issue. Let me assure you, not in the remotest possible manner, and we don't expect anything like that from the BJP. We don't want it, we don't desire it. We will oppose certain things, and we will extend a helping hand where we think that the principle is unexceptionable.
Praful Patel, you wanted to come in at that point and you were talking under Abhishek Singhvi, so you couldn't be heard.
No, because you questioned Abhishek because on the basis of whether that there's an LOP trade-off between us and them. There is nothing like that. We fully support the Congress as far as the leader of opposition status is concerned. We believe that Parliament, even if the numbers of 10% are not with the Congress, it is in propriety and the larger spirit
I accept that point. I accept that point. Let's not get deflected by the LOP issue. I accept the point. Let me take this opportunity. Let me take this opportunity to put what I think is a possible infirmity in your position to you. You believe the Prime Minister has a right to choose whoever he wants as his principal secretary, and if it requires an amendment in the law to facilitate that, then so be it. It's not worth quarrelling over the issue. But what do you say to people who perhaps in return point out that if there are improprieties involved in the way Mr. Mishra was appointed to his job, this will lower his respect in the eyes of his own juniors? That members of the civil service may not say this to his face, but they will certainly feel it in their breasts and in their heads that this top man got the job not the right way. Won't that undermine Mr. Mishra? Mr. Patel?
Yeah, okay. No, I understand. On a larger principle, there is no question. As I said, I started by saying that it's not something which we should subscribe on a daily basis. But now, having taken that step so far, and the fact that Mr. Mishra has got an impeccable background, I think, let it be, so be it, and we continue to, take things on with the government on larger issues rather than quibble over these small issues again and again.
Very quickly, before I go to both Prashant Bhushan and Siddharth Bhattacharya, I want to put one other situation to you, Abhishek Singhvi. In 2011, when Dr. Manmohan Singh was Prime Minister, he proposed in his Independence Day speech a law to govern regulators. And if that law had come to be, then you would have ended up undermining the very regulators today you say you want to defend, support and keep objective and independent. So I put it to you that when you criticize Mr. Modi, this is a classic case of the pot calling the kettle black.
Mr. Singhvi? No, not at all. The case we are talking of is a case where one gentleman, can you hear me, Karan?
I can indeed, go ahead quickly.
Can you hear me, Karan?
Yes, I can, go ahead.
Yes, where the Prime Minister, the new Prime Minister, chooses one Mr. X and amends the law through ordinance within 2 days. The law which was proposed during the UPA had no such features as wanting to strangulate regulators. It had a feature, it was only proposed, it never went through, where there would be a mega regulator for some regulators to coordinate and that would be really in the nature of coordination.
Yes, and that mega regulator might have been the government itself.
There is no question of controlling that regulator.
Isn't that the great danger? This is what Dr. Manmohan Singh said on the occasion. We have no legislation which will enable the monitoring of the work of these regulatory authorities and make them more accountable. Very interesting. Make regulators more accountable. Who to? The government, obviously.
Yes.
The government.
Please read the bill.
Absolutely, the government.
Karan, please read the bill. It makes it accountable to Parliament. Even CAG is accountable to Parliament. And EC is accountable to Parliament. And that bill itself has provisions which want to make regulators accountable to Parliament.
To that party. This is all very clever legalese to make sure that through the back route or the front you end up.
I don't think, I don't think any democratic institution can be unaccountable.
All right, let me bring in very quickly Prashant Bhushan and then I'm going to go to Siddharth Bhattacharya. Prashant Bhushan, are you willing to accept that when this matter goes to the Rajya Sabha, where sadly your party isn't represented at all, your ability to influence people with your cogent arguments is going to completely fall flat?
Well, we don't know what will happen in the Rajya Sabha. We do know that these parties like NCP or Samajwadi Party or BSP or many other parties actually, or even the Congress, are so thoroughly compromised and so so fully ridden with all these corruption problems that it is easy to arm twist them. Look at this particular case. It was the UPA who used Mr. Mishra initially as chairman to give a convenient report which was contradicting what he had said earlier.
I'm going to stop you because I think we mustn't get into libel about Mr. Mishra. That wouldn't be fair. He's not on our show. He can't defend himself. We must be very careful, particularly you as a lawyer, that we don't do and say things that sound libelous. That would be unfair.
I'm just using the Supreme Court's observations.
Maybe, but the Supreme Court's observations, the Supreme Court's observations can be wrong. You know as a lawyer better than me that the Supreme Court is only final because it's the last stage, not because it's necessarily always right. So let's be careful. There are the honor of individuals who are not present involved. So let's not be very quickly. Siddharth Varadarajan, I'm going to end with this. Congress looks as if it's going to be isolated in the Rajya Sabha. The Samajwadi Party, the TMC, the BSP have all indicated they're going to be supporting the government. We don't know about the JDU, but it's quite possible that other than the left, the Congress may not have anyone on its side. If that turns out to be the case, how much of a setback will it be for Congress? A quick answer because we're horribly out of time.
Well, it's clear that the government is going to have its way in the Rajya Sabha, and I think the Congress, what it should try to do is to perhaps talk to parties like NCP, Trinamool, etc., that at least as a compromise, that there should be some undertaking by the government to have a thorough review of the functioning of India's regulators, and to have some kind of a report, some kind of a select committee go into this and set uniform terms as far as possible. That will guarantee the independence and autonomy of all regulators.
All right, that's going to have to be the last word of this particular half of the show. Time for a break, but then the worrying news that Indian Muslims are fighting alongside ISIS in Iraq. Is this the tip?